Welcome to the second episode of Will It Play, where we're going to be playing 13th Age.
Yep.
So just to review, for those of you who didn't see the first episode, you should go watch it. It's up, it's good, where we played Shadowrun. But essentially what this show is where we take a random system that people play on Roll20 that we've heard about, that I have never played before, and Richard has never played before, and we kind of attempt to just set up an entire game that uses that system in Roll20 within an hour, and then right after that we get a little group of guinea pig players together and we make them play through it and see how it goes, and basically to see if this game system does work in Roll20 or not.
Yeah. So it's kind of a mini tutorial if you've never played 13th Age, and also if you've never used Roll20. It's a good jumping off point. Now, there's lots of other things you could do with the game, with the system. There's a lot of things that we were doing off camera, like my players already have their character sheets, stuff like that. Things that aren't necessarily, but we just want to highlight the functionality that the game could have in Roll20. So let's see. 13th Age is a D20 fantasy role-playing game, so dragons and dungeons and crawling and that kind of thing.
Dragons
Jonathan,
and Dungeons, not
well,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Jonathan Tweet, he was one of the lead developers of third edition Dungeons and Dragons, and Rob Heinso, he was fourth edition. And they actually, I watched like a little video that the interview they did. They had like a weekly D&D game, and through their homebrew of the two systems, basically like, I wish it did this, I wish it did this. They basically came up with 13th Age. So,
Oh.
and I think it plays pretty well, or we'll see if it plays pretty well.
Well, okay, so the first thing we do with, at least well, the last one didn't work well. So explain to me the setting, and again, I'm going to this with no knowledge of the system
Okay.
or the adventure we're playing. So explain to me.
So we're going to the first, first page we'll need is it'll be a battle map. It'll be a grassy area with trees and or foliage.
Okay, what are all the? Tell me all of them.
So there's one that a ruins
So,
with yeah.
ruins. Okay, and that's another battle map.
Yep.
Okay.
And then stairs or some sort of like the inside of a tower.
Also a battle
So
map.
like partial stairs with the map or not stair. I mean, it can be pretty flexible. There's actually some other stuff, but I'm gonna put that in later because I want to ruin some stuff for you, and that's pretty easy, like one image thing. So
There's no
these are
setup. There's no talk to anybody stuff before.
There is, but I'm not gonna have you search for that stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that in later.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so grassy tree area. So describe the grassy tree area to me. How big?
This is grassy area.
Are we talking like a clearing? So it should be.
We're talking like random road encounter.
So there's a
We're
road.
traveling on the road. It doesn't have to be a road. It can just be grass and trees. Grass and trees.
Well, let's just see what we got here. Perfect.
And I think over the last one we did, we pretty extensively. You went and searched a lot of art assets, and I mean, I think anybody that watched that kind of got the gist of it. So I don't think we need to. I think that's pretty boring.
What do you mean?
I think we need to highlight the mechanics of the game because that's what interesting to people, and then.
You're gonna cut this part out? Is that what you're
else.
telling me, or?
No, I'm just telling you that like the reason we're not going to include the other stuff is because like literally I had to go and edit out you like just Google searching things like 50 times.
Whatever it is, key to the experience. Okay, so this is I found a random map on our marketplace actually. So this is by Generic Wilderness with Road by B. Simon Smith. I searched for Tree Road and found that right away. Look at that. This is what it should be, right?
So yep.
All right.
Actually, 13th Age does not use grid, so you can turn the grid off.
Okay, no grid. Okay.
So let's go ahead and find our PC tokens. So we're gonna need a barbarian, an orc-looking fighter type. Annoying me. Okay. So we got the barbarian. Now we need a bard. This says gnome bard, but it doesn't have to be gnome. It can just be a bard. I mean, something that looks like it's playing a lute or a musical instrument of some kind. Okay, perfect. We need an elf paladin or just a paladin.
Again, for those of you watching at home, I have the benefit of having access to basically all the marketplace stuff right here. So if you were searching for these, you would see these as results that you could access if you wanted to purchase them. But since we're in a hurry, I'm just basically taking advantage of the fact that I have access to them already. Okay.
Okay, I got the paladin. Now I need a halfling fighter. And whose tokens are these? Are
So
these
far,
different
most of these are
people's?
Devon. Yeah, these are all Devons.
Devon Knights.
Oh, damn, this is way better. We're going to pretend this is a gnome.
Oh,
That's the barbarian.
okay.
We're going to pretend that's a gnome.
The other one's the fighter.
No, I'm just going to... We'll use this guy as the... I mean, the fighter, he just won't have a shield. He'll be more like a roguish kind of guy.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about 13th Age. They really wanted to make every class play differently.
Oh, yeah.
So they really do. Like, even if you're both melee classes, your mechanics and the way you engage is completely different.
Okay.
And then we need a ranger, elf ranger.
Not stereotypical at all.
Ranger, I know. Not pre-generated characters.
All right, cool. I guess these guys are probably a bit big considering how big these trees are, huh?
I think it's fine. They're fine. Okay, so there's our adventuring group.
Okay.
Now they are going to encounter goblins on this road. So I need one goblin shaman. I'll need a goblin shaman, a goblin grunt, and a goblin scum. So if you can just find 3 variations of goblins.
Goblin what?
A shaman, a grunt, and a scum. So if you want a goblin magic user, a goblin fighter, and a goblin something else, that's fine. As long as there's 3 variations of goblins.
Perfect.
Very nice. Whose tokens are those?
They're all Devon Knight.
Those are pretty good. Okay. Well, that is pretty much it for that. Okay, so this is pretty much it for this map. The most interesting thing about the battle system that's different from normal D20 rules is they use an escalation dice.
Okay.
So basically, it's a D6 that if you're at a live game, you put on the board at the beginning of turn 2. You'd put the dice down. So turn 1, everybody rolls normally. You engage your combat. Then at the beginning of turn 2, you put a D6 on the table with the 1 up. And that 1 adds to everybody's rolls, all the PC's rolls, not the NPC's rolls.
Okay.
And basically, and then the next round it goes to 2, next round it goes to 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. So essentially, it's just like the longer you're engaged in combat, the more frantic things get. You're escalating, your attributes, your abilities, your damage. So it just makes combat move faster, and it kind of, increases the excitement of the game. So how would you implement escalation dice using Roll20?
Well, I think if I wanted if I wanted to keep things as simple as possible and as close to the tabletop feel as possible, what I would probably do is use a dice token. So that's essentially, you can do that by just rolling a d6 and then dragging out the d6 onto the tabletop that you just rolled. It'll create a little, basically, d6 token on the tabletop, and then you can actually choose the side for that dice. So essentially, you could set it. Well, there's no. Yeah. So it starts at 1.
Yeah, right.
And then, at the next turn, you would go to choose side, and you would pick 2. There's not an easy way to quickly increment it, which kind of stinks, but that would be the closest to have the actual... Now, the problem with that, though, is there's no way to then pull that value back in your rolls automatically. So if you wanted to go for basically ease of use, which is probably what I'd recommend, I would just create a character, which I believe this is how the 13th Age people actually recommend doing it on their blog that I've seen. I would just create a character called Escalation Die, and actually, let's be clever. That name character Escalation. I'll give him one attribute called Die, and then the current value of that is whatever we'll add on to people's rolls. So by doing that, so let's see, I could do that. And then I could actually, can I do this? I don't know that I can do this.
Yeah, you should be able to set the value to so that if you were going to roll like 1d, it just means it's 1d20 plus your, level plus escalation die. So basically you would click on the escalation die, then roll, and would that add it automatically to your roll?
Well, you could do it that way. Yeah, that'd be one way to do it. So basically what I've done is I've actually set up this die as an actual token. I think this is kind of a bad way to do it though, because you'll have to change it in 2 different places, which you probably don't want to have to do. So I'd pick a token. So like let's just do a Google search, web search for D6, and let's get like an image of a D6 so we know that the 6-sided dice. There we go. Better. Okay. So I'm just going to drag a picture of a dice onto the tabletop right here. There we go. I'm going to tint it so that it is a darker color than that, because that color looks silly.
Yeah.
It can't be tinted. It might not be able to be tinted. Well, anyway. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this token to the escalation character, set bar 1 to this die value. So what that basically just allowed me to do is really easily, I can go in here and I can now just right here hit 1 and hit enter, and it will save the new value. Or I can hit 2 and hit enter, and it'll save the new value. So now that the bubble, essentially, of this dice icon on the tabletop is whatever the escalation is. So if you want to check the escalation, and I'll make this so it's controllable by, I'll change the character so it's controllable by all players. And that way anybody can click on it at any time, and they can see what bar 1 is. Or edit it. Let's let anybody edit it too. So there we go. So now anyone can click there, and they should all see that what the escalation dice are going to do. Then when we're making our macros for tonight, which again I think this is where we have our usual discussion about simplicity versus complexity versus one-off versus long-running campaign. So this is, I think, my understanding of the system, if it's very close to D&D. So I assume there's a lot of abilities that are just roll an attack and then roll a damage.
Yeah. 1d20 plus your level plus your attack value.
So I don't know if you're planning on going through and actually setting up character sheets for everybody for a night.
I'm not. No, everybody.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
If people want to, they can. Again, some people like to do that. Some people don't like to do that.
So for tonight, since tonight we're just running a one-off again, I'm just going to create some basic macros. So I'm going to make a D20 macro / roll 1d20 plus, and I'm going to put a dice query for modifier, default of 0. And again, so these are just adding really easy. So you can click here, and if it's supposed to be 1d20 plus 5, you can hit 5 and hit enter. Now, do the escalation dice get added to the attack and the damage rolls?
Just the attack rolls.
Just the attack rolls. Okay, so let's just name this attack.
So it'd be like 1d20 plus the input plus the.
And now I can use the escalation character's die attribute as part of this. So now what we've done is click attack, type in what my modifier is. For example, if it's 1d20 plus 3, hit enter. And not only will it add the 3, but it'll also, you'll see here, add the 1 because that's the current value of the escalation die. If I move the escalation die up to 3 and do the same roll again, now it's 1d20 plus 3 plus 3. So that way everybody is on the same page on the escalation die. We only have to change it in one place in roll 20, which is on that little bubble. And it's already factored into that nice little attack button. So there's still some manual math / looking at your character sheet involved because it's just a one-off. We're not going to go through the trouble of setting up things for everybody. But if this were a long-term game, then if I created an attack for macro for my 3 most often used attacks, by using, everyone has access to that die attribute and can include it in all their macros so that everyone's always on the same page with adding the correct value. So you're not constantly having to look at it and say, okay, plus 2 plus 3, what's the escalation die, and doing the math in your head, which is nice. What are attack rolls like? It varies based on the ability.
Attack is based on your, 2d8, 1d10 plus your strength.
So tonight, some people may make individual macros if they want to. If not, they can just type in the formula manually or use the handy. For those kind of basic rolls, you can pretty easily change this here and kind of.
I think it's a really nice mechanic in that it hopefully speeds up combat. You know what I mean? It's the
escalation die, it seems like it would. So if things start to drag on, then suddenly you're just critting all over the place.
Suddenly you're hitting. You're hitting. The longer the battle, the easier it is to hit things.
Gotcha.
Which is, fantastic. But it caps at 6. So once you get to turn 7, 6 is the limit. So.
Okay.
So it's not and it also the way it's at the DM's prerogative. So say, turn 1, everybody tries to attack something. And so then the next turn, the escalation dice goes to 1. Let's say then that second turn, everybody decides, the bard decides he's gonna run behind a bush, and the warrior, falls down, and the rogue misses. Well, that's not much action is happening. So then escalation would stay. It wouldn't go up.
I
Per
see.
the GM's, how the fight's going. So you couldn't just stand there and avoid being
Wait
hit,
for it to
running
move
around
on
in circles,
6.
waiting for it to go
Yeah.
up. Right, exactly. So yeah. Anyway, okay.
Okay. The other thing I was going to point out, what I'm going to do is since we have multiple pages, I'm going to open up the escalation character and edit it. I'm going to select this token on the tabletop, the red dice, and I'm going to click the Use Selected Token button here under Default Token. What that does is that takes all the settings I've set up, where I've linked this to this character, where I've set up that bar, that the green bar is set up to the escalation die value, saves it in here, so that for the next page we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is just drag the escalation character out from the sidebar and drop it, and that will just give me that red die all set up with my settings exactly how we had it. And the nice thing is now that that's all set up, and that way I don't have to recreate it, and I can do that for every single page right at the beginning, easy peasy. Okay, so what's this page?
So the next page is going to be ruins.
Okay.
Um,
And again, I'm probably just going to cheat and search for ruins. And hopefully there's a pre-built map that already kind of has some good ruins.
And this can actually be pretty flexible. I mean, as long as it looks like a devastated area, that's fine too. You know what I mean? If it doesn't be, I'm thinking like ancient
castle
ruins. It can be castle ruins. It can be like a burnt
Greek
town.
ruins.
I mean, anything that looks like it just got demolished is going to work. So.
Okay, well here we have a nice Redthorn Castle Ruins by Bogey on the marketplace. Let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. And I'm going to use the advanced set dimensions option here really quickly to just make it fill up the whole page. That work or?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it looks pretty devastated. I don't know if there's anything we could add, like things that are currently on fire still, or like maybe some dead bodies strewn about.
I know that we have dead tokens. So
right.
Let's just search for that.
And then they don't have to be throughout the whole thing. If they can just like litter the entrance, and then that
okay.
like here, and I mean, I don't think we'll call it good. Okay. I mean, in the FYI, I'm running the like the sample campaign in the back of the core rule books, which I bought the PDF. And this encounter right here, this is all supposed to be theater of the mind, but I figure since we have such a great visual tool for Roll20, they were like, use as many visual cues as you can. And I'm like, well, I will.
That's a nice death going on here. Perfect death. And I kept these on the map layer because we're not actually going to move them around during the game, I assume. Right. So this way you don't accidentally select them when you're trying to select your characters.
And then we just need to bring over the PC tokens.
Okay, and again, if I had created character sheets for all these guys long term, then I could have just done the same thing with the escalation die and drag their character out onto the page. But since I'm not doing that for tonight's game, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to copy all of them. Control C, go to the next page, and paste them all in. Control V. Boom. Okay, now I got all of our guys. And we haven't gone through and actually set these guys up to where people can control them yet or anything like that, so we'll need to do that. We're going to make them a little smaller, because on this page, castle is a bit different scale than the trees were.
Okay. Last map.
All right. Do I need the PC tokens for that map too?
Yeah. Yes, and the die.
I'm going to copy my PC tokens, go to the next map, go ahead and paste them in. I'm going to drag out my die. Okay. Turn off the grid. Background black. All right, what are we looking for on this map?
So this is going to be the inside of a tower. So you could do it in, I can say I would do it too. You could either find stairs and then have another just a room, or you could have the stairs that lead to a room or something. You know what I mean? Like two parts of the same map, or because I think it'd be pretty hard to find partial stairs that lead into a sort of into top of the tower. You know what I mean?
Got this thing going on here. What's this look like? I mean, how much stairs do you need? Like how big the stairs?
Well, here,
Big enough for a battle, or just big
zoom
enough
that
for
out. No, it doesn't need to be big enough for a battle. That's perfect. Okay, so we'll need an altar of some kind that can go right at the bottom of the,
Okay.
right where all that stuff is. That works.
Okay.
Okay, then I need a human wizard.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. And then that's fine. Okay, then we're gonna need lizard men. Two different types of lizard men. I know that Devin has dragonkin, like a dragonkin set in there.
That's what you want, Dragonkin?
I mean, that works. That's fine. So a magician, so like a dragonkin magician, and then a savage, so like a fighter. So 3 magicians and 2 fighters.
All right.
We have yeah. I mean, that's it. If you want to do music.
Okay. So let's see. There's look at this typical fantasy environment. So let's just look for some background music. These are just all 3 battles. I mean, what do you just battle music?
I mean, I would say we would need a okay, well, we need a doom and gloom music. So not really battle music, but more like super sad type music, like.
That'll work. Okay, and then you want battle music. Okay, it's gonna be our battle music.
Okay. Okay.
I like it. All right, what else? Traveling music.
Something that feels like you're in a forest. You know what I mean?
And I sometimes like to do. This is just me, but I like to do themes. Like I'm trying to do everything piano for this.
So if I'm like, I don't know. I really like to use like Zelda music because that just makes me feel like I'm on an adventure. Very good.
Okay.
And then victory music, obviously.
Are you sure we're gonna win?
That is a good point, but I think I should have it queued up just in case.
I kind of like this. It takes a little while to build, but I kind of think it's gonna be like it's a bit better than just the typical Final Fantasy victory music was.
Yeah. Epic, orchestral, dramatic, heroic.
Alright, so that took about 40 minutes, and we've set up 3 maps, which are all 3 battles. Richard's going to fill in some of the minor details that were spoiler-related. This is pretty straightforward in Roll. I mean, as far as just recapping the prep, I mean, Roll20 was built for this. Like, this is when we designed Roll20 originally, we wanted to be system agnostic, but what we played at the time was D&D heavily. So it's not any terrible shock that 13th Age works well in Roll20. This is minis on a battle map with dice rolling and character stats. I mean, that's exactly what this is built for. So
yeah, I mean, I think the most complicated thing was the escalation dice, and I think we gave several options to handle that however you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or you could just add one in your head every time and roll it on your own.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so the next part of this is the play test. And some of the things, if you watch this whole video, some of the things will be different just because I'll move the pieces around, added a couple pages. But all that stuff, it was pretty, Google search, I found it really easy. And 13th Age actually has a lot of resources on our website, so I'm going to link that in the description below.
Okay.
So, Get ready for the playtest.
All right, here it goes.